Hey yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of World of Tanks, and welcome back and all that stuff. Here we are. I'm gonna leave that intro in. It's terrible, but we're gonna go with it. We have Porterhouse, xPorterhouse from Cops, Centurion 1, Tier 8, British medium tank. Sent me this replay and said, hey, how could I have done this better? And I get a lot of those replays. I like to do those, so we take a look at it, obviously, and I look at the card, and it's an ace tanker, and I say, okay. Sometimes I'm not really sure. You know, people say, hey, what can I do better? Are they serious? Are they not? They send me a good game. But let's talk about that for a second, because I think there's a misperception a lot of times. People think that just because they had a great game, there's really nothing to learn from it. I like to go at all of them and try to learn something at least from all of them. And sometimes you have a good game and you make mistakes. In fact, probably most of the time. Sometimes they're big mistakes. Sometimes they're just little mistakes that don't matter. Sometimes they are overcome by the mistakes of the red team, right? The best tonic for your mistakes is worse mistakes, or at least equal mistakes that you can leverage from the red team. We are on Serene Coast, spawned into the south in a standard battle, and he's going to head over to the west side, which I approve. It's a Centurion 1 with a very good turret. He's top tier, set up to have a pretty good game, but he is facing a T-29, another Centurion 1. There is a Lurva and a couple TDs that can poke holes through him in the case of the Sturv and the Scorpion G. So he's going to head over to the west side, and I think that's a good plan. Let's talk about your setup real quick in the spirit of trying to find something. I don't know why 2 kits on a medium. I would run a fire extinguisher. That's just me. If you can accept being lit on fire, or your crew is fully fire trained, or you're running a directive or something, but then I would run a different directive that was more important. I think there's a lot of ways to go there. Clearing up a spot to put something in like food or whatever, I think is a great idea if you want to accept the fire risk. But 2 kits and then 1 health kit, small. So what we've got here is we've got a large repair kit, a small repair kit, and a small health kit. Put a large repair kit and a large health kit. I know I've talked about this a couple times to different people, and sometimes it's just purely a credits thing and noted, but if you can, I would use the large kit. However, when you're new, and it turns out Porterhouse is relatively new with about 6,000 battles and a 50% win rate, what I'm going to see from you right here is a good knowledge of basic game mechanics, hold down, things like that. We're going to talk about the flow and the positioning. I just wanted to touch on the setup. I think you could probably carry more APCR. I'd carry 10, Vice 5, and I don't think you need all of that HE, but you've got a lot of rounds, so probably not going to hurt you too much right there. Think about that. Maybe 2 large kits and food if you want to try hard, 2 large kits and a fire extinguisher, at least 2 large kits and 1 small repair if you're going to go with the 2 repair kits, if that's how you want to roll. All right. We are going to push up to the west side, and we're going to go up into the northwest and work this hold down position. And we're going to watch as Porterhouse does a pretty nice job of this. We'll talk about it as we go. He comes up here, and this poor 3002M finds the last guy he wants to find there. He can't out turret you. He can't out depression you. He's just bumming. So there's really no reason for him to go at you. But then you kind of find one of the last guys you want to see. The T-29 can certainly be trouble. Good news is the T-29 doesn't play it very well. And you have a little bit backup back there, but not much. This was an interesting fight because they kind of own you guys over here based on what they have. You have a Hellcat in the back. I just want to look at this because we're going to watch this develop, but holy cow. There's a Sturv, there's a Hellcat way back there, but there's nothing else. Some artillery. I think if the enemy team was to do this over again, they would play this a bit differently, especially that Centurion 1. So they know you're there. You've seen the Centurion 1. The T-29's there. Really, you're at a bit of a disadvantage here if they play this right. And then there's a BIS, which has decent gun depression, and they take a little chunk off you. Nice job. You kind of have the half zoom third-person shooting down, which is really nice. The way you handle it is pretty good. I would recommend a little bit more zoom in on a couple occasions, just to get a better idea of what it is you're shooting at and what the terrain around it is. We'll talk to those as we go. But things like that right there, really nicely done. You got a good handle on that, game mechanic-wise or physical-wise with the hand-eye coordination and all that. And you use this little divot here. I don't know if people know it's here. This little divot right here is pretty dangerous, especially with a tank that has good gun depression. The weakness is if you have to get up and over it, you really expose yourself. It's a gentler slope over on the other side, but their ability to look down on you and shoot you is much better. So he gets into the little divot. The other good news is one of their artillery died, the M44, and the 304 doesn't seem interested in shooting you. So we're going to be able to kind of free of arty go after these guys. Nice shot right here. That was really well done. That's what I was talking about having that good feel for the third person kind of thing. And then here comes the Centurion 1 on the enemy team, and he's going to be a little bit problematic. Right now, you can kind of accept the shots and bounce off the turret. Look at all these nice turret bounces right here. But that Centurion's going to start to realize he can come a little bit closer without getting too hurt. And he's going to start putting shots into your hole, and you're putting shots into his. Unfortunately, you're a bit behind in the HP race, plus there's a T-29, and that's what I was talking about, folks. I mean, if these guys got any kind of serious, they would just come over and take out Mr. Centurion here. Very curious that they didn't do it. And the other Centurion, good news there is he's probably not a very good player. He's really enamored of shooting the hold down Centurion instead of just accepting nice, easy shots on these guys who are way back there. So we're just going to keep working this. He knows he's got hits on you, though, so he's trying to peel you out of there, doing a pretty nice job of it. Good job fixing that. You noticed it right away. Go ahead and get the ammo rack back. Another shot into him. We eat another one, and now we're getting down to two-shot territory. Really had the T-29, the Centurion, just charged you guys a while ago and taken you out, it would have been all over but the shouting. Check out on the peninsula. Your team has won. And finally, their Lurva shows up. That was a nice choice of where to shoot. You're going to actually get him doing that a little while later. Their Lurva showed up down on the peninsula. And it's been a while. It's almost 4 minutes into it, and he finally shows up over there. What the peninsula guys were doing, I don't know. There's nobody dead. I love this. They might have been taking fire from the Scorpion or the Stir potentially down there. I don't know. But the Lurva finally shows up. There's 4 guys dead. I guess there was a Super Hellcat, or was that your Super Hellcat? Or their Super Hellcat. Let's see. Nope, Super Hellcat's dead in the middle, it looks like. So yeah, I don't know what's going on over on the peninsula, but the good news is you're not losing the peninsula. And it looks like a pretty good win is about to be created. I think this is the place where you get that nice shot. No, not quite yet. The T-29 keeps coming in with his turret turned. Centurion's coming in for one more shot. You get the bounce that time and even up the hit point race, and then the artillery goes in there. Still, though, you're a little bit behind based on this guy. That's the shot right there. Really nicely done. Good knowledge of the weak points and checking out the green indicator. Centurion kind of does a panic shot on you, hoping he can do something because he's tracked. He knows he's bumming right there. The 2 M44s are just working him over, plus somebody's now hitting him. You could have gone to HE potentially on that. Might have got some. I don't know if you'd have got 73 off of him. I sort of thought you might have wanted to be a little more aggressive, but it wasn't a bad move right there. I probably would have pushed in. I probably would have ate another shot too. So there you go. A little bit of carefulness. All right, so really well played on your flank. Newer player, learning the game, 50%. Somebody who's asking for help, looking how to get better. That's the kind of thing I see. They can go to a flank and they can fight their tank pretty well. You were the top dog. The other team wasn't very aggressive, but there were a good number of them, and you played it really well. Now the question is, how do I get from that 50% player to that 55, 60% player? What are those things? What do those look like? Go purple places, do purple things. You went to a purple place, you did purple things locally, but now we have to start thinking about the larger meta of the game, the flow of the game. Where do I need to go next? Right? Once I win this flank, where do I go next? I want everybody who's watching this video right now, just take a second and look at it and decide, where would you go next? Okay, where would you go? Then for a moment, think of Porterhouse, 50% player, newer player, learning how to play the game. Where do you think he went next on this? I know where I would go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and continue on. That was a late artillery shot, wasn't it? Did he know that guy was dead, or that was weird? Or maybe that was a 304 from the enemy. I'm not sure where he is. I don't remember seeing him in the game, so we'll see where he appears. Maybe he's somewhere in the middle. The M4A3E2 is moving up. And here comes the swarm, right, where we're swarming. We're flanking, we're flanking, we're flanking. Remember what I asked you just a moment ago? Where would you go? I know where I would go. Where did you think Porterhouse would go? Did you think Porterhouse would push into the cap? once I saw him going this way, I knew he would have. All right, for me, for my money, it's student body right over to the peninsula. Come back to where about the KB3 is or the Su-130 and start shoring up the defenses down there. This looks pretty good at 8-4, but they've got a Lure of a Scorpion and Sturve. You have a Su-130, but he looks like he's about to die, and your cap's in danger. Whatever is sitting at their cap has not played the game yet, and probably will not. Then probably will not until the very end. Either you go in there and let them play, let them use their guns, or you go kill their aggressive guys and then come back at them without their aggressive guys still wandering around the map. So for my money right now, you don't go swarming down to the cap, because watch what happens as we get down here. Probably smart, probably smart, not just raging in there and going after these guys, because you're kind of a one-shot close to it anyway, to the Sturve. They can certainly hurt you, and if a couple of those TDs are back there, then you're dead. This was interesting to me. All right, that's the weakness to me of that long-range 3D or third-person kind of thing. I like to zoom in on those and get a better idea of what I'm looking at here and maybe pick out a better shot than just back here and I'm just going to center a mass that thing. There's no real difference between this and auto-aim, in my opinion. Just the pixels at this range are just big pixels, and you're essentially center of massing it. Go ahead and zoom in on shots like that and see if you can't pick out a better place. It's a small thing. That is my technique. That's the way that I feel is the best way to do shots like that. So just like anything, it's not all of one thing or all of another. It's situational dependent. What is the best thing? Not even necessarily the right thing, but what is the best way to get that shot in that situation? And I think it was a little more zoom in. We're going to hit and see another example of that. All right. We got them pushed into a corner. Your guys did push on a cap, but again, like I said, they're letting the IKV and the Sturve 1 play the game. And this nearly cost you guys, because TDs and strong positions in bushes can take out near-dead guys pushing caps pretty easily. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen games lost because of this very thing. Wouldn't it have been nicer to let that Sturve just sit there doing nothing? To go all the way across the map, get over there and start picking apart these guys as they're trying to take on this Su-130. About now, you'd already be down there, backing up the Su-130 back there, putting that nice accurate gun to use, taking down all of those guys. And there's a lot more hit points over there. HE. Is this a Hesh carrier? I don't know. Hesh or not. Hesh or HE, I don't care. Don't just put your AP into him, man. It's going to let you down. That one was pretty good. You ended up with 299, but watch what happens after that. We're thinking, oh yeah, we're going to own this guy. It's all over but the shouting, baby. We're going to get him. Oh boy, that was fun. You know what? I didn't notice this the first time. I'm going to tell you what I noticed in just a second. Well, let's go, because that was very interesting what just happened right there. There's a bounce. So maybe it's the Hesh. I'll have to look it up afterwards. I don't know. Either way, I don't care. Hesh or HE is crap. And it nearly cost you right there. I think it's just straight up HE. You broke you broke your own gun with your HE round, man. There are so many reasons why no to HE in that situation. The other thing about it is that I will note is the side of that tank is all tracks, and that's going to be problematic for HE. So there you go. Now we got the IKV, and your gun is broken. I don't know if you noticed this during the battle. The good news is the Centurion gun's pretty accurate, but wow, you got 2 kits. I mean, if you're going to carry 2 kits, Porterhouse, let's get those things used up. All right. In the heat of battle, it is very easy to miss those things. So that's going to be part of cross-check stuff. As you get better at the game and you're able to take more in, you'll notice those things. I notice very quickly if I have something damaged. Not all the time. Sometimes I screw it up. I'm too busy or just miss it. But as a general rule, I notice it very quickly. The other thing is, and I don't know if you were watching that. Remember how fast that gun zooms in, right? Its aim time is really low. It's got a small dispersion to begin with, relatively, and all those other shots just really boom, boom. What you're going to start to notice is the timing thing. You're going to go, why is my gun taking so long to zoom in? And you'll look down left and go, ooh, Okay, now I understand why. So there's a couple clues in there. One of them being how long it takes your gun to zoom in. Obviously the big icon right there. And then we eat a shot from the Scorpion. Pretty lucky there. We got a 482. All I needed was a bit of a high roll to take us out. Need to fix the driver and the gunner. The other thing about a large kit is you just press one button. You don't have to press 6 and then find your driver number and press that. You just press the, in this case you got it set up to, looks like 6. You just press 6, it fixes it. There, you get him back, but inexplicably you noticed him, but you're not worried about the gun. I don't know if you're trying to, maybe you're trying to save credits. I don't know. But we're in that part of the game, and you're actually sort of losing based on the tanks that you have left. Now you're in pretty good shape. They take down the Low and the JPZ, and they've only got 2 tanks. The KV-85's way in the back wandering around. Now we just got to try to get rid of this Scorpion. So notice that, you know, going to cap allowed their guys. First you got mauled by the guys that were at cap, the couple that were there, the stir. So we lost some guys, we got mauled. Then all of a sudden their aggressive guys won because you didn't go back up your aggressive guys. And now you've got pretty good tanks coming back, possibly making this game a loss if the Scorpion G plays it well. He plays it pretty badly. Okay, we shoot him, we back out. I think that's a good idea. It's hard to tell what he's looking at. One of my techniques here, and I don't know if you could do it because he's kind of looking at you, is to highlight him and see if I can't tell where the gun is pointing, or zoom out a little bit and see if he's pointing his gun over here. What that will let me know whether I can poke out or not. It's hard to tell, so probably better safe than sorry. Now he's definitely coming in and looking at these guys. You can see his gun is turned to the side. I'd go immediately in there and get that shot. There you go. And then I would stay there. No reason to back out. I think you do, yeah. Until you start to see that slow turret come towards you, I would stay there, aim in like you did. And again, you got a broken gun, so that could have been even a more comfortable shot if you'd have fixed that gun right there. The turret thing, as far as watching guys' turrets, you do have to be careful. The higher tier you get, especially mediums and light tanks, the turrets are very fast, and sometimes you simply can't get out of the way. If they decide to come over and snap, they're going to get a shot off. But a tank like that with a known kind of weak, slow turret, that's a pretty safe bet to come out. Just put a little bit of your turret out there, watch him, and if he brings that turret online, then you can go ahead and back out as soon as it starts to move, get out of there. Sometimes you can time your shot and then get out of there before you can even get the turret on. That's the benefit of having multiple angles on one guy. He can't fight everybody at once. Nicely done right there as far as taking that down. 3,827 damage, 1,352 assists. Ends up being an ace master with two kills. Well played. I think the first half of this game was pretty perfectly executed in there. The enemy team allowed you to do some things that they probably shouldn't have, but there you go. It's not whether you get lucky, it's what you do with it. I thought you did a really nice job. For my money, at that point, I'd have gone and taken on their aggressive guys and helped my aggressive guys down there in the southeast, take them out on the peninsula, as opposed to push in and let campers play. It is hard to stress that too much. Stop pushing, not necessarily you, I'm just talking to everybody, myself included at times. Stop pushing caps where people are camping and letting them play the game. If they want to sit at cap and do nothing, let them. Play against the other players that are active, then come in and mop them up when you've got a bunch of guns and you can take them out quickly. Stop letting those guys have hit points they don't deserve by sitting in a bush at cap. That's all I've got, man. I hope that helps out. That was a good one. There was a lot in there. It was a great game. You need some paint, by the way, on your tank. You need some camo. It was a great game, but as any game, sometimes even great games, there's going to be mistakes that we can learn from, things we can talk about. Let me know what you think down below, guys, in the comments. That's all I've got. We will see ya.